Bryce, when you were watching this game, is there a way to get through that front line of the Rome? Are they really invincible? And we're talking about Alabama and who's going to play them in the championship.
I'm gonna go real quick and say it's the latter, man. I think it's Alabama's to lose. I mean that what Saban does not only week in, week out, but just year in, year out. And Saban kind of talked about it before this game in an interview when he said 25% of his team has changed. I think it's probably more than that because of how many guys they put in the league. It is a next man up scenario with those guys, and what they do specifically to your point on the front seven is ridiculous. Those guys are animals. They're men amongst boys. The Roman army is a great representation of what those dudes are, especially if you're a history buff out there, just because of what it meant to be kind of faced up against the Roman army back then. It's almost like impenetrable. So those guys really on both sides too. It's not just defense. Those guys get kind of first look a lot of the times, but the front five on the offensive side of the ball, I think did a hell of a job tonight too. But more kind of specifically going into this game, everybody was kind of talking about this being a group of 11 that Nick Saban can really kind of hang his hat on, which is scary when you're in Tuscaloosa.
Right. Hack, Trevor, they did not play. They didn't play Ichabod State tonight. They did not line up and go up against, M&MU. They took on a revamped Hurricanes that have a new culture. They have a dynamic quarterback there, although he's coming off an ACL, and they still treated them like, they still just rolled through them. Where are we going to see resistance, and what could have, what would you have liked to have seen out of Miami in their effort today?
Trevor, I'll let you touch on that first.
Yeah, man, we talk about a year in and year out. Like Bryce said, it's the next man up. What I think is more impressive about that is, as you guys know, as competitors, if you're a top recruited guy or you're hoping to be, one of the guys on the field, and you get beat out by a guy that's just better than you, which happens a lot there, at Miami, it's tough to maintain that confidence. So like you said, Bryce, developing that culture within that organization to, hey, that guy's gone now you're the man, and build up that confidence is incredible. So, I would have liked to see Miami go in and compete a little bit better in this game. And I know that's not even fair to say, right? You see Bryce Young go out there and just absolutely tear it up. You see the defense for Alabama really shut anything and everything down. But like you said, this is the year everybody's been talking about where, hey, Miami is revamped. They're ready to rock and roll. Alabama's maybe not as strong as they have been. They may not even win their conference. And you see them come out and just rinse and repeat the process. It's fun to watch. I'm tired of it. I was tired of it as a player. I think a lot of people are tired of it that it's not their school. But man, just impressive performance by those guys in the Crimson.
I think real quick too, just to touch on that before Hack touches in on it. One, he's got a great name at Bryce Young, but two, he didn't play outside of himself. He was just very cool, calm, collected, and he just did what he needed to do. And I think too, Hack, you've been in that position, hell, we all have, to where you just look, man. Whether or not Saban takes him off to the side and says, or Billy O, which would be really interesting to get your take on Billy O. Yep. But taking you off to the side and saying, look, man, this is your deal. You've been here. You've got $1 million under your belt now, so go have fun. I'll almost be more inclined, if I can, George, to see, Hack, what's Billy O like, in the room, and what do you think he told Bryce before this game?
Yeah, so to get to that, I think there's very few places in college football where you get the opportunity to hire a guy at a coordinator position with the resume that Bill O'Brien has. He was a head coach in college football, obviously, at Penn State. I had the opportunity to play for him for a year. And then the guy goes on was the acting GM and head coach for the Texans for the past few years. And then now he's back in the coordinator role under Nick Saban. And I think that's a testament to how Saban runs his system and how he manages his coaching staff. Those guys are next in line for big jobs all across the country at both the NFL and the college level. I think it's a situation where Bill feels very comfortable because it's very similar to the situation that he came up in New England, where he has a guy who has a culture established, has an expectation level when you walk in that building in terms of how you carry yourself as a player, how you carry yourself as a coach. He has the support defensively, like you were saying, Bryce. You know, I think that defense has an opportunity to be one of the most special defensive units that Alabama's had in the last 10, 15 years. And for him, I think he's benefited from his time in the NFL, adjusting to the new college game, having the opportunity to coach a guy like Deshaun Watson, and what he brings to the table. And then the one thing I always give Bill credit for is the fact that he doesn't stuff a square peg into a round hole. He's going to find out what his guys do well and put them in position to be successful and make plays and execute and move the football. I think you kind of saw that today.
Hat, quick question.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And you know, you played for Bill O'Brien, and you were a young quarterback, just like Bryce Young was a young quarterback for him. How does he prepare you that week leading into like your quarterback test?
Yeah.
What is he drilling into Bryce Young? What is to him? The bus ride to the game, first at bat. I mean, you rolled into your debut with him. Bryce rolled into his debut with him. Can you just share with us what that was like for Bryce Young?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was getting at, George, is that I'm virtually positive it has evolved a little bit. But when I was there, like, he came in running the Patriots system verbatim. So Bill and I really spent a ton of time focusing on defensive football and understanding weaknesses and coverages. You know, his like three things: numbers, leverage, and matchups. We ran the run game, we ran the pass game, we ran identification. So there was a lot on our plate. So for us to really be able to master it, we had to know what we were going up against. So I would imagine that Bill hasn't gotten away from that, and he has really tooled Bryce with the knowledge of the defensive side of the ball to be able to know where the weaknesses are, how to attack it, and so on and so forth. And that's where I was saying is I think today you saw a good little mixture of that newer RPO scheme that has come in since I played for Bill. And I think that he had learned from Deshaun in his time in Houston, and also some pro concepts that he has kept that have been his babies throughout his career. And when you have the kids out there that can run, catch, make plays after the catch, the offensive line, I think that those guys really make Bill's job easy. And I think once Bryce really starts to see it, because it takes a few games to really get a feel for it, but when Bryce really starts to see the defense and understand the opportunities he has, if he has the same reins that I had, he's going to really take command of this thing and have the opportunity to put together a really special season.
Scary. The guy already looks 28 anyways.
Yeah.
But texted you, Bryce. If you listen to him, he does sound 16. Looks 28.
He does.
Sounds
He's
16.
got this. Yeah. It's okay though. It's okay.
It's okay. I'll tell you my impression of watching those guys. I was impressed with both. Bryce Young was poised and he made plays. It never felt too big, and he's on the field with real athletes. They brought pressures. They got exotic. They would drop 8 one play, bring 7 the next play, and he handled it. He handled it. Didn't force anything. Didn't let anything get into his psyche. But also got a tip of cap to Coach O'Brien. Really mixed it up. Third down, he was brilliant. I mean, and I understand he's out there playing with 11 NFL players, but you still have to win the game from the visor, then down to the field, and then they got to go out and execute. And he was brilliant. That 94-yard touchdown that Bryce threw with his feet in his own end zone, it was a wide open shot. It was beautiful. It was a deep over. He got him. And then they just kept him off balance, ran well, threw it well, threw for 3-5 with a kid that just turned last week in his first game. So usually those performances come against a lower tier, not another opponent that's technically another heavyweight. But I was really impressed.